create a less vibration of the law of attraction. Because envy contains negative emotional charge. If you witness someone more successful than you and feel jealousy indirectly, you hate the success that person has achieved. This raises a contradiction within us. On the one hand, we want to be successful like that person, but on the other hand, we also don't enjoy this self-conflict, which is very draining. Success becomes very difficult to achieve, because the subconscious mind performs a self-protection function so that we don't experience suffering because of achieving things we don't like. That is success. If the subconscious mind does not agree or hinder, then the conscious mind can never win. So if you meet a friend or anyone who is successful or successful, pray for that person to be even more successful and be happy for their success by praying for other people to be more successful. You have stopped your subconscious mind that you want to be like that person. Our energy can not only be drained by strenuous physical activities such as working, learning to exercise and so on, but there are things that come from within that can drain energy without you realizing it. Low vibrations have a strong effect on us, making us tired and less alert, productive, and when they accumulate, a person always feels unhappy. A vibration is like a transmitter that forms a certain frequency. We can simply interpret the frequencies as waves. A wave is a journey of energy. The more energy vibrates in a wave, the higher and lower the frequency. The frequency, less energy vibrating in the wave. In other words, every person and matter in the universe has an energy field with its own vibrational frequency. His dissertation research found that emotions have different vibrational and energy levels. It is the pressure, the energy level of each emotion. The higher the energy level of the emotion, the better the quality of life, both in terms of everyday propaganda and the spiritual propaganda. The lower the energy level of the emotion, emotions get worse because our will greatly drains our mental energy. Can lower energy levels and deprive your daily life of energy, but we can most effective talk a number of them. Envy is the other pole of divine power which produces sincerity. If you notice or meet a person whose greater success, has greater cloth happiness, succeeds in attaining their goals or desires past your fulfillment or your situation, what emotions will stand up to your coronary heart? Do you sense glad too, and glad for that individual's fulfillment? Sense regular, or rather there's a sense of pain with inside the coronary heart if the solution is uncomfortable emotions? Maybe there's something incorrect with the kingdom of your coronary heart. Whilst tested greater deeply, this uncomfortable feeling generally comes from emotions of envy and envy. Emotions of envy and envy turns into limitations in bringing in sustenance and attaining fulfillment. Due to the fact envy incorporates a bad emotional rate, if you witness a person greater of success than you and sense jealous indirectly, you resent the fulfillment that individual has achieved. This increases a contradiction inside. On the only hand, we need to achieve success like that individual, but then again we additionally do now no longer find it irresistible. This self-struggle actually drains the power of fulfillment, being very tough to reap. Due to the fact the unconscious thoughts plays the feature of self-safety in order that we do now no longer enjoy struggling. Due to the fact attaining something we do not like is fulfillment, If the unconscious thoughts does now no longer agree or avert it, then the aware thoughts can by no means win. So in case you meet a pal or everybody who's a success or a success, pray for that individual to be even greater a success and be glad for his or her fulfillment. By praying for others to be more successful, we taught the subconscious to want to be like those who regret the past and worry about our future. Actually, our mind is different. We tend to spend unconsciously thinking about the past and the future. It really drains your energy. We are busy remembering and regretting the past. On the other hand, we often worry about an uncertain future. The most important moment in life is now. The past is just a collection of present moments that have passed, and the future is a collection of current moments waiting to be present in life. How our worries will be in vain, because the past cannot be redrawn. What we can do is optimize the current power to change for a better future. Do your best, enjoy the process, focus on doing the best you can do in the present without worrying too much about the worst possible future. The mind creates analysis and understanding, but both often leads to fear and anxiety. When we live here and now, the mind disappears, awareness arises and develops and responds appropriately and clearly to what is happening. A person who can find and use his mind will never feel afraid to worry or regret about the past. He lives with high self-confidence and faith without worrying too much about the judgment of good and bad or right and wrong from other people. He likes to hear negative and hateful news. Nowadays, social media is filled with hate speech simply because of differences in political views, idealism and so on, and not a few of us are swept up in negative comments and even insults without realizing that this can lower your vibration. According to psychologist Annie Miller, exposure to negative information affects the brain in the long run. This is because when you feel threatened, your brain activates the combative response, and your body's systems react immediately. Negative news devices activate your nervous system, causing your body to release stress and cortisol hormones, making you experience the stress response more frequently. The most common physical symptoms are fatigue, anxiety and depression, and insomnia. In 2014, Harvard University researchers asked her 2,500 adults in the United States what causes stress in their daily lives, and found that watching, reading, and listening to the news was stressful. She was one of the main causes of. Since then, further research has shown that hearing bad news can affect mental health. Today's media focuses more on bad news than good news. One study found that in every 17 bad news people receive, only one is good. That's because people tend to pay more attention to news of terrorism and war crimes, react more quickly to bad news, and remember the hatred that overwhelms you. The effects of hate revolve around yourself. Your happiness can be overshadowed and even cause fights. Hate is a deadly poison that slowly but surely destroys you without you even realizing it. Accumulating bitterness constantly will erode the thoughts and additionally threaten fitness with the aid of using questioning an excessive amount of approximately different humans as perspectives or emotions. If you've got a dependency of constantly considering different humans as emotions earlier than speak more acting, of course, this isn't an awful thing. However, in case you regularly bear in mind how humans sense or suppose, perhaps you're humans. typically constantly prioritizes the pastimes of others as compared to his very own pastime, simplest to be accepted, preferred and trusted in all matters, typically whilst requested for assist by no means refuses, despite the fact that in his coronary heart he does not adore it, whilst requested for opinion, constantly agree. It is clean to forgive humans who've surely harmed themselves in order that their relationships with different humans are maintained. They regularly sense responsible and apologize, despite the fact that it is now no longer their fault, without figuring out it. This stuff truly drains electricity in yourself due to the fact they constantly move in opposition to your coronary heart. For that, from now learn to recognize yourself with the braveness to specific the contents of the coronary heart and convictions. In case you suppose that is true, do you suspect that keeping a grudge? Whilst keeping a grudge, we can try and make a revenge plan and allow the harm nest. Unknowingly we surely use restricted electricity for grudges so it could drain electricity. Suppressing feelings will now no longer straight away purpose a disease. There are hormones which can be associated with every different, however painting's opposite. That is the hormone cortisol and oxytocin. The hormone cortisol is launched whilst human beings are below exceptional intellectual stress. One of them is keeping grudges. At the contrary, the hormone oxytocin ought to be launched more. One of the matters that makes the mind launch the hormone oxytocin is while you forgive and make peace with yourself and others. And you may be obsessed on resigning life,